Hey everybody, it's David Duford here at DeFord Insurance Group, where I train and recruit agents nationally to sell final expense Medicare and annuities face-to-face and over the phone. Thanks so much for watching. We're going to jump right into today's We're Doing It live training. And today's topic is how to close 2 to 3 policies daily with insurance sales seminars. So the reason I'm putting this together is, of course, as you guys understand, my main line of business is finding agents to sell typically final expense in Medicare, a little bit of annuity to join my agency. And of course, one cannot have an insurance sales business without insurance sales prospects, right? Now, in most cases, what we do is teach agents to purchase leads and run appointments on those leads. But there are some agents who have more desire than they've got bankroll. And a lot of agents come to me asking, well, how can I develop leads without having to spend thousands of dollars a month on buying them? And really, you could do things like cold call, cold canvas, set up a booth at a flea market. But those kind of are hit or miss, especially the cold call stuff. What I have had great success with personally, as well as teaching many agents nationally, is how to utilize sales seminars, insurance sales seminars, to develop leads in a way that is totally special and unique from really the cold strategies. So much so that they very much appear and seem as if they are like purchasing a warm lead from, like, say, direct mail or a live transfer. And what I've developed is a system to help agents go out there, specifically in the final expense space, find and uncover seminar speaking opportunities, and to set up seminars, and then to go conduct these seminars to develop insurance business. And what I'm going to be doing today is talking in more of a general sense, and we'll give you some specifics, of course, of how to utilize the same kind of system that I have personally and professionally, as well as taught others, to uncover lots of opportunities for insurance sales, no matter what it is that you sell. Again, of course, the beautiful thing about insurance sales seminars is that the vast majority, and I probably should have threw this into the title to spurn on the viewership a little bit, is that most seminars that I'll be talking about today are completely free or so little in cost that you don't have any kind of expectation for a large investment of your money up front, which is why I bring up in the beginning. Many agents come into this business and they're looking for free ways to develop leads. And I believe seminar marketing, as hopefully I'll convince you by the conclusion of this, is one of the best ways, even if you're brand new, to get started producing leads for insurance, and then to ultimately, hopefully, create a bankroll, and depending on the niche that you're in, to reinvest that into some kind of lead program. So seminar marketing is really great, and not just for something that you use to get to purchase leads, but even as a standalone strategy. If you do enough of these seminars, they're a fantastic way of having fun prospecting. It's probably the most fun way to prospect, and to develop high quality leads. Now, before we get into the details, again, we're going to talk about where to look for these, how to book them, how to present at these seminars, and then how to develop those attendees into prospects. That's a special thing that you need to be aware of. And I'm going to kind of, before we get into that, tell you a little more specifically of my story and kind of my background for this. So before we get started, again, I welcome you, if you enjoy this kind of content, to please hit the thumbs up button to help share and spread the talk that we're going to be doing today throughout the YouTube algorithm, to get more people to watch this and share this good information with them. And also, just as a shameless plug, we are conducting our next Elite Agent Summit Bootcamp in Las Vegas on March 26th. It's a very reasonably priced, jam-packed training one-day bootcamp that you will learn more if you go to eliteagentsummit.com, so make sure you check that out. Okay, so let's first start off. So I started doing seminars back in 2015. And learned the method from now business partner on the Medicare side, Matt Munguia. And the process of doing seminars is pretty simple. We would find captive audiences of seniors, because we were selling final expense. go in and speak to them, typically smaller groups, over a brief conversation about life insurance options, and then work to convert them into leads in which we would sell the same day. I took his concept, modified it a little bit, and over the course of the next year, I conducted just shy of 100 seminars, probably wrote about double that in production, maybe 150, 200 apps from exclusively seminars, and along the way refined it, created the system that we have now that agents get for free as an agent with the Ford Insurance Group, and made it into a system that just pairs well when you don't want to buy money into leads. So let's first start talking about, again, what is a seminar exactly? So seminars can be done paid or free. I personally prefer the free method. That's what I really critiqued and fine-tuned, because the truth is, with seminars, it's one of the few prospecting strategies where there are more people looking for speakers than there are actual speakers to conduct seminars. Unlike direct mail or Facebook, where the constant concern is the marketing strategy saturated? Is it something that's price sensitive still or price valuable? Seminars are always in demand. And why is that the case? Because, well, the number one fear in America is the fear of presenting in front of a public group of people. And that impediment keeps many agents who otherwise are good salespeople from actually conducting seminars. So if you don't have the fear, or you can deal with the fear of speaking in front of a group of people, chances are seminar marketing, you're going to find you're in kind of a league of your own. Now, where can you find free seminars at? Some of you might be aware of that seminars are like, the annuity stuff, the plate lickers, right? You spend $5 or $6 grand, do a retirement seminar, and the people come in and get the free dinner and leave. No, that's not what I'm talking about. That is viable in some markets. But the marketing that I'm talking about are going to where seminar opportunities are going to where people already are meeting in groups, in person, and looking for ways in the door to have a conversation that is relevant to that group of people, but may not be exactly the same conversation they always have. And for example, in the senior market, what we look for, to give you a couple of examples, again, think about it. I want to sell final expense. Who's the perfect prospect? Typically a senior. And where do we find old people at? Well, we find them in facilities like independent living facilities that are designated for seniors. We also find them at senior centers playing bingo and nowadays pickleball, right? You may also find them in church small group gatherings. Lots of churches skew older, and many of them have women's groups. These are other fine examples of places that meet regularly and would appreciate a mix-up or an educational training to kind of keep the conversation fresh and alive. So in your prospecting efforts, and again, this is for seniors, you might be selling a product that's not directly related to seniors. And if you have questions in a different product, like how you would have me think about that, feel free to throw it in the chat. And once I'm done kind of describing this process, I'm happy to kind of go over it. Hey guys, how you doing? Thanks for being here. But this is what you need to be thinking about. Think about your ideal market. Think about the groups that they're meeting in, and figure out a way to get in front of those groups and prospect them. So like, for example, if I'm prospecting for final expense and I'm looking at, let's say, senior centers, I'm going to find a list of senior centers in my area. I know that they have speakers into these places or may be interested in them. And since they've got a captive audience after all, and I'm going to approach the person that's responsible for organizing activities, and I'm going to either talk to him over the phone or in person about pitching him on a seminar. Now, a couple of things on the pitch that I would recommend. First of all, to the key person in charge that will say yay or nay. First of all, you want to emphasize that these are educational seminars. You don't want to go in there and say, hey, I want to tell your prospects why they need to buy life insurance from me. Like, that's the last thing you should do, and you probably wouldn't. But you want to overemphasize the fact that you give educational talk specific to the group of people that are there, and you need to explain to that activity director why it's relevant, why they should care, what they're going to get out of it, okay? So if I were to go into one of these senior centers, let's say, I would talk about, hey, I give a free educational talk about the 4 pitfalls behind having behind death and the hidden costs they need to be aware about. And it's an educational talk. It's designed to give useful information to the people that are in attendance. There's no selling involved whatsoever. A talk like that is what I would pitch them on. Of course, you need to be clear that you're a life insurance agent and are licensed by the state, and you're happy to help them, but making it clear as well that you're not there to, sell them is very, very, very important. It's likely that if you come off with the right tenor and the right tonality, and you really do want to help these people, that you're likely going to get booked. One of the things I found is that in booking seminars, the process of booking them was actually extremely easy because, again, the demand for seminar speakers is a lot higher than the supply of speakers readily available to give them. And the strategy that we teach, which is very similar to what I'm describing, our odds are about booking about 7 out of 10 of the approaches for seminars that we approach. So it's a 2 out of 3 success rate ain't that bad, okay? So the first side of this business is, again, compiling where there are seminar marketing opportunities and then creating a list like you would a prospecting list and then approaching those people and essentially just doing a stratagem of going out, talking to people, and trying to book these appointments. Should you do this over the phone or face-to-face? My recommendation is, if you can, try to book them by first meeting the gatekeeper, in a sense, face-to-face. I think that gives you the best odds of success. If you got to do it over the phone, that's fine. There were times when I was going out of state doing these kind of final expense seminars, and we would book everything ahead of time over the phone. But I think the impact and convertibility and getting the gatekeepers on your side to be advocates for you to help promote the event is better if it's done at first in person, if at all possible, okay? So a good place to start, find 100 to 150 of these kind of prospects that would have these groups and then start calling on them. Don't just figure out that you've got 5 names of groups in your areas and hope it all pans out. There are just some that won't ever pick up the phone or won't ever agree to having you. So you need to have a preponderance of opportunity in your favor. So make sure you start with a wide pool of prospects as far as seminar prospects goes to begin. One thing I will say, as many people watching this may be thinking at the time of this, is COVID an issue? I'm happy to report that COVID is not an issue anymore, I think, in most markets. Now, it may be a concern that people have, but the nature of most of the seminars that we end up doing anyway are small group in nature, or the way that these group meetings are being conducted anyway have social distancing in effect, okay? So I wouldn't use this as an excuse. If anything, at the filming of this, I think is probably the best opportunity to get into some kind of seminar marketing, because in the last couple of years since COVID started and the social distancing have been employed, a lot of this stuff has kind of gone to the wayside. So kind of looking at the trends here, things are somewhat getting back to normal. This, in a sense, is the perfect opportunity to get up and running back into doing seminars, okay? So a couple of things here I think help you book seminars. Again, we talked about the educational approach. I think emphasizing an education that you're going to give the attendees is important. People do not want salespeople in to pitch from the podium. They want educated people to come in and give and dispense of useful information. So make sure that you emphasize that, and we'll talk about the presentation here in a minute to kind of wrap that whole process up in your head. Also, I think it is helpful in some capacity to bring food, drink, beverage, as well as something to give away or raffle off of. For example, I did a seminar in Knoxville, Tennessee, in a very large senior living facility, probably with like 600 people. And one of the things the activity director highly suggested is I would pick up some stuff at the dollar store to raffle off occasionally in between doing games of bingo. So that was his suggestion is, hey, why don't you come sponsor a bingo game? We'll do a double header, right? So we'll do the first one, do some bingo, then you can do your little talk for 10 or 15 minutes, and then you can do another bingo, and then you get to run the thing. So I was kind of like Saul Goodman in Better Call Saul. I don't know if you remember that show, but he, in his beginning of the season 1 or 2, he was running these bingo games at these senior places looking for, lawsuits to, run on people. So anyways, I kind of did that, but it was great. Having the handouts there to give to people just as kind of little rewards was kind of fun. And I ended up getting like 3 sales out of a group. It was pretty large. It was probably like 30 or 40 people. But as far as sales volume goes, it was absolutely worth it. So I would bring donuts, food. Don't go off the deep end. There were times when I was buying full platters of, real nice food. You can do that, but even like, a couple dozen donuts from Dunkin' Donuts works. I got to the point where I was getting Baker's Dozen clearance discounted donuts from Walmart. I mean, it's still good. It was cheap. It's the main reason for me. But I was doing that plus getting some water or some, Cokes or something, right? So entertain them that way. I also like to draw for a gift card for any of the people that attend. That helps boost attendance, that there's a chance to win something. Obviously, so does having food and beverage as well. And I will say this, the main reason I emphasized and brought all this is not just to improve attendance, but really to get the gatekeeper on your side, to get them excited about having you in to talk about whatever topic it is that you're talking about, right? Oh, you're bringing food and drink and giving something away? Yeah, come on down. It's great. So make sure that you try to implement that as well. I think that's very helpful. Now, as far as the actual presentation, $1.25. So what it is with inflation now, Mark, right? Be prepared. It might be the $2 or $3 store before we know it. Now, what do you actually present? How do you present? Okay. So should you do, I had this question earlier from an agent of mine who's going to employ this process. Their question was, should you bother with a PowerPoint presentation? For me personally, I think PowerPoint is really overrated. There's nothing worse than some professional speaker that makes you look at a PowerPoint the whole time and doesn't really focus on the delivery of their presentation. In the interest of making things happen from getting to point A to point B, it's not that I'm against PowerPoint training. I just don't want you to burden yourself with too much additional work that is unnecessary. I think in the beginning, the best thing you can do is just simply have a presentation prepared, have some topics to talk about, and make sure that you know where you're going in your presentation. So I say ditch the PowerPoint. Again, some of my favorite professors in college, I went to Boston University, were the ones that just depended on nothing but what thoughts they had in their head and the speech that they gave. Or worst case, a projector. I don't even know if they got those around anymore. But you get the point. They didn't do PowerPoint stuff. It's kind of overrated. So, but when you do present, a couple of points that I'll say that do really good for the sake of presenting is, first of all, presentation-wise, how long should you go? For me, in the presentations that I give on the final expense side, I don't think we really went for 15 or 20 minutes tops. A quick, to-the-point presentation that delivers useful information, that is engaging and exciting to whatever extent burial insurance can be, is enough. And for me, it wasn't really typically more than 15 or 20 minutes. Topically speaking, we talked about the concerns that seniors had. Like, what happens if they don't have coverage? How are they going to get buried, especially if the family can't pay for it? Concerns like, how do I know if I'm paying too much for my coverage? How can I determine if I have the best, price because I'm on a fixed income? Or, for example, how do I know I've got the right kind of coverage? What is this term insurance coverage all about? What's the fine print there? Or maybe, how does guaranteed acceptance coverage work? I've seen old Alex Trebek on TV talking about this. It must be good, right? He's a big brain, smart guy. Not exactly. As far as a 2-year wait goes with the plan is what I referenced there. But anyways, you get the point. So I spent a lot of time educating my clients on the products out there, the need for coverage and the concern to have it. And then certainly taking their questions, engaging them, asking them, do you know what term means? Do you know what how AARP plans work? Do you know what happens if you don't have coverage? So it's not just a lecture, okay? I think the worst thing you can do is get up there and lecture people to death. The best thing you can do in a presentation is ask them questions. Ask them to engage. They will be happy to. It'll be interesting to them, okay? And you likely will get more involvement and attention from people when you're not treating them like, I don't know, a YouTube video that you're doing live where nobody's out there, raising their hands and being engaged. It's what's kind of different than, a YouTube video, but you get my joke, right? You want to try to actively engage your audience, and I think you're going to get a more compelling talk. I will say this: if you've never if they've never actually done a presentation in front of a group of people, what is the first thing you realize? There is way too little time. You'll be shocked at how little time or how fast 20 minutes flies by. So don't, pack too much meat into your presentation. You want to have the meat, okay? Where's the beef, right? But you don't want to think, oh, I'm going to go on for an hour. You'll put these people to sleep. They don't want to spend an hour listening to you drone on. 20 minutes is typically enough to get to your point, to engage, and to leave them with good information and hopefully inspiring them to reach out to you. Okay? And this is the thing, too. I kind of wish I would have mentioned this in the beginning, but I kind of jumped into it. Why would you want to do seminars to begin with? I think this is something that needs to be, you need to be convinced of. So what is it about seminars that makes it better than cold calling? Or better yet, better than many types of marketing, including warm marketing? Well, first of all, seminar marketing, you get this effect like what you guys have with me right now. And I'm not like, patting my back or anything here. What do you guys think agents think when they've seen my videos for weeks, months, maybe even years, and they make the decision to buy into the business and sell final expense or Medicare? What kind of relationship do I have with them? I have this, and it's weird because I'm just normal dude sitting in his spare bedroom, right? It's a celebrity-like effect. When people finally talk to yours truly, there's no objections typically. People know me. They've seen my content for a long time. They have the sense that they know me, and they feel like, and I believe and hope it's true, that I'm an honest, transparent person just as much on video as I am in person. And it lends me this ability to, quote unquote, sell in a completely different and more advantageous way than the person who's just cold calling a list of names. So in the seminar strategy, here's where I'm going with this. When you do seminars, you're leveraging the same concept that you're experiencing right now listening to this video in the terms of developing this very unique type of connection with your prospects. They assume, because you have the guts to stand up in front of them and talk with authority, that you know what you're talking about and probably really are an expert. So there's the assumed expertise that you just automatically get way better off than if you just, again, called and set an appointment or just showed up at their door to sell them, okay? So that's a powerful thing that you naturally get from doing seminars. And no, you don't have to be Mr. Compelling speaker. You just, as long as you don't sound like a complete dope, and you can deliver your information from the heart, people are going to be turned on by that. And the people in the market want to do business with the experts. We always want to do business with experts, not amateurs, right? The other benefit to seminar marketing, it is the ultimate strategy. Again, just like YouTube. You are delivering a message, a sales message in a sense. Yeah, albeit it's educational. You're going to convince people with education all day long. But you're delivering your message in a scaled way. You're scaling your message to many simultaneously. Whereas when you sit down with a prospect at the dinner table, it's a one-on-one message. And it works. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's good or bad. But with seminar marketing, you get to scale that message to dozens potentially, right? And again, the impact of your message to dozens of people or to one person is actually the same as it would be in front of hundreds. So the point being, with seminar marketing, you have this unique ability to scale your message in a very similar way as you would one-on-one and essentially qualify for the low-hanging fruit that is ready in the market right now, and that is going to, again, develop this sense of rapport and trust in you just by simply delivering the message in a group fashion, and will be much more likely to do business with you because of it. So seminar marketing is extremely powerful, okay? It is, I think, fun. First of all, it's the one of the best ways to develop the best quality leads. It has the added benefit of being little to no cost with these free strategies I've described. And it's fun. You don't have to do the whole song and dance with your typical script. By the time you sit down with them, they like you to some extent. They pretty much trust you. And it's just getting down to business on how you can help them close a deal. So again, I'm a big advocate of it. It's in certain markets, it's harder to do full-time. I was doing it full-time. I did 2 a day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for quite a while, traveling to different states, doing final expense seminars, which I'm an extreme person, so it's an extreme strategy, I know. But it is possible, I think, and I've had agents through the years do 2, 3, 4 seminars a week, and they're able to write 5 to 10 applications every single week, okay? It depends on the market. Like I said, if you're in a big city, it's a little easier to do because there's more prospects for it, places to do seminars at. But it's something that's absolutely viable. Very few people do. That is also very lucrative. So that's my sales pitch. And this is all especially that much more amplified if you can't afford the usual paid lead strategy that we talk about, okay? Now, a couple of things here, and if you guys got questions, feel free to throw them into the chat. I'll be happy to address them about seminar marketing in the context of whatever product you have in mind, or just general questions, happy to. The last point I'll bring here to hit your questions up is, well, how do you develop attendees into leads proactively? So let me give you my little pro tip. I always tie the raffling or drawing, I should say, of the gift card. In this case, we would do a $20, $25 gift card to Walmart at these senior facilities, okay? I would tie the drawing for that card to filling out the entry form, the lead form, wink, wink, you and I know, they don't know. But I would say in the conclusion of the call, or conclusion of the seminar, I'd say, hey, thank you for your time. We're going to draw for this gift card. In order for us to draw, you have to fill out this form, and the form has to have everything listed as it's described. Please fill out everything, okay? And then once you do that, put it in this fishbowl. I'll mix it up and then draw out whoever's going to win the card. If I draw your name and it's not all filled out, you can't win the prize, okay? And I'd literally stand up these old women and say, oh, you didn't put your apartment number down. Sorry, toss it out. Piss them off, but hey, that's the name of the game. I don't know how to not show up. I'm not going to be able to show up at your house or apartment if you don't put that down, right? But the point is that this entry form is the lead, okay? And we're requiring them to fill it out entirely so I can turn them into prospects and then to work them, okay? So if you run these seminars, it's imperative that you make sure that you have that form filled out and relate it to the gift card or the drawing or whatever it is that you're giving away for free. Again, the point is everybody wants something for free. Everybody loves to win prizes and get the notoriety of being a winner. So incentivize them to participate only by filling out that entry form or lead form. And then there's all your leads that you're going to ever need to work. One last thing I'll say, and then I'll open this up to questions if there are any in the chat. The critical linchpin to your success in the execution of a seminar is to make sure that you properly upfront promote the heck out of it, okay? So for example, when we would do seminars in senior living facilities, the agents that would show up a day or two before, go door to door, not knocking on door, just put them in under the door, on the door, flyers that said what was going on, posted flyers in the elevators up and down in the washer dryer room. Agents who would go through that process that would take the hour or two, printing it out, doing the grunt work, doing all that stuff, would have probably double the sales versus the agent that let the activity director do all that stuff, because they never did it to the extent that was necessary. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, because I never did all that grunt work. But for a couple of times, and a couple of times that we made it happen, there's one place in Gadsden, Alabama, I think I wrote 6 or 7 policies and like $4,000 or $5,000 in premium. with that one place. Then there was the high-rise Dogwood in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I think I had like 4 or 5 sales out of that. And of course, it's such an intelligent idea, I never did it, But the agents I taught this method to that would bother with walking through the preliminary requirements to maximally promote it, these numbers would be doubled. I mean, I had agents, and I have agents, I can think of a couple that would do this the way I'm describing. They would sell 4 or 5 deals per seminar. It was just nuts how much they would sell. So my point is pro tip, make sure you really, really promote the heck out of these, because that's where the money is at when we're doing seminars, is the upfront exposure. And that's going to vary by how you do it, but you want to make sure that you figure out how they promote stuff and get the word out there, make sure they talk about it, etc. So that we have that much more people showing up. Okay, so that's seminar marketing. Again, in a sense, it's funny. I still think paid, especially in final expense, certainly Medicare, paid direct mail lead face-to-face is the best strategy for marketing, even compared to seminar. But man, seminar is a close second. The only issue in the context of final expense and Medicare, and why I don't have more agents doing or push seminar marketing as much, is that it's hard to keep your pipeline full intermediate to long term. We pretty much use seminar marketing, because of where we go to target it, as a cash flow infusion. It is a way that if you are starting low on cash to get up and running, it's very simple in most markets to get 10 to 20 seminars booked within 2 months, and to use the sales from the proceeds from the sales of those to self-fund your marketing efforts face-to-face or over the phone. But the problem with it is, in most markets, it's hard to scale more than 2 or 3 seminars a week. You have to do like what I did. I'd live in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I had to drive up to Louisville, Kentucky, and then all the way down to Panama City Beach to literally find the type of seminars we were looking for. And it's hard to sustain. I was on the road 3 days a week. I don't like that. So my point is, guys, is there's ways that I've learned to make that better. But it's really hard with our one-call close business, I think, to keep seminars pumping at the high level that's necessary to get high levels of production. But other than that, they're my favorite way to prospect. I like them better than paid methods, because I get to build personal value as opposed to impersonal leads in developing these leads. And the business is just so much more easier in a sense, because people, by the time you talk to them, are ready to buy. Cool. All right, so let's take a look, see if there's any questions on this. Hopefully this helps you kind of conceptualize how this, and again, let me emphasize, we have the whole program. If you're looking to sell final expense, free for agents who join. You can buy a more complete version of what we've described at davedufour.com/store. It's a seminar marketing mastery program. It's pretty much developed for final expense agents. If you join my agency, whether you need to get started with less money up front, or if you want to just work these in to your already existing lead programs, seminar marketing it's a free program you can get access to, and it's a lot of fun. It makes a lot of money, and it's a good way to develop leads. Hello, everybody. Yep, that's right. Last year, TP would be a good draw. Yeah, tell me about it. Actually, I was thinking before I even saw that, like, one of the drawings we used to give out were like toothbrushes and toilet paper, just like random stuff. But, this was in a senior living, low-income facility, so they appreciate that stuff, Would any additional groups, 45 to 50 plus, be viable for annuity sales? I don't quite know. I mean, for us, the annuity prospecting we target are people who generally are coming from final expense or Medicare leads, and we just uncover the fact they've got money to move. They may not be in the market to move the money, but that's okay, because we're going to show them why they should greatly consider it. Because a lot of people who have money don't know how bad they're getting the bad end of the deal. They're paying high fees for their cookie cutter programs from these, run-of-the-mill financial advisors. And many times a fixed index annuity, is a lot of what we sell, is just a better overall deal and return on investment, upside potential, but plus the protection from downside loss. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. People now, even older, have shorter attention spans. What was that? Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. 20 minutes is really enough to hone in and make an impact. Do you have an example of the lead card or PDF that can be printed? For the seminar, Mark? Yeah, it's on my training website. It's under the training site to use, right? For a generic card, just put in final expense, direct mail example, and you'll see some options there. Thank you. You're welcome, Doug. Love your content. Keep it going. Thank you, Alonzo. Appreciate it, man. Hey, Steve. I'm just starting out. Hired by NASB. Just got licensed. This is a good fit. Trust your instinct, Steve. That's my response to you. You should be enveloped right away into a training and a sales and marketing training program without delay. For example, when people join my agency, the same day they start submitting appointments for their contracts, they get introduced right away into my training program. And it should be abundantly clear from the beginning what steps you need to take to learn this business and what steps you need to take to get out into the field, kind of what the expectations are. And we do that at DeFord Insurance Group. If you're not getting that, then very quickly, then you need to be thinking, maybe I need to reconsider. Again, a lot of people jump into this business, and I don't know your background. I'm just kind of talking generally here, Steve. They don't understand this business is very much multi-level marketing focused in the recruitment tactics, and there's not as much emphasis as we'd like to see placed on developing the skill set of the agent to sell insurance at maximal levels. Instead, it's all about who's got a pulse, who can fog a mirror, right? Who can I recruit of yours to recruit others to recruit? Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. And if you're not getting the sales training that you need, that you think you need, then I would recommend slowing the process down, looking elsewhere instead, because about 90% of people plus fail out of this business every single year. And it's a wonderful business with great economic opportunity. And your training, your lead accessibility, the person that brought you in, it's imperative that you find the right people and the right processes if you want to maximize your chances of success. So there's my 2 cents. Let's see here. Chris, hey, 2 down, going for that hat trick. A hat trick of the hat trick, really, is what it's going to come down to. I think, what did you do, right? 4, Chris, the other day, 3 yesterday. So you might be up to 10 by the end of Wednesday. That's a good week right there. Yes, sir. Just got E&O insurance, been in sales for 15 years. Yeah, right, absolutely, yeah. And insurance sales is completely different, I mean, I was talking to a gentleman today who is... He's coming from the equipment sales business, and it's, sales is sales, but then it's not. It just totally depends. So final expense, especially, it's weird. It's a weird business. You'll see it very quickly if you go out there in person or talk to people on the phone, but it is convincing people and helping them find a plan that's good for them. But you still need the industry-specific support. You don't want to go it alone in this business. Not a good idea. All right, and if I can help you, Steve, daviddeford.com. Check it out and see if what we do is a good fit. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this training. Hit the like button if you felt that it was a good value to help share this. Try some seminars out. Have to say they're very good. They do a great job. If I can help you learn more about joining my agency, daviddeford.com/FAQ to learn more. And as always, thanks for being here. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. See you next week. Bye.